Hey everyone, it's Nurse Danny, and today I am joined in studio with these three delightful young ladies. We've been chatting it up for the last half hour or so, and I'm so happy to be here today with you guys. We have Camaro and Riley and Talia, and they are from Harriman High School, and they're here today to talk about a really cool project they're doing for their marketing class. I'll let you guys give more details later, but basically they have polled teens and asked them what they want to know most about, and so we are going to answer a few of those questions today, and it's going to be a series. You guys will be back again next week so we can talk about even more topics. So I'd love for you guys to each have a chance to introduce yourselves to everyone, and also at the very end you just have to throw in what you want for Christmas for any parents out there who might be wondering what to get their teenagers. All right, so Camaro.
So hi, I'm Camaro Holt. I'm a senior in high school. I am very involved in school. Throughout all of high school I've been, but especially this year because I'm just like so passionate about school and you only get this once.
Yeah.
So this year I decided, to also join in FBLA and DECA, and that's kind of what started this whole project is from just like joining the club. So I'm very excited.
Cool. And what do you want for Christmas?
I want a second monitor for my computer.
Second monitor. So now you have to tell everyone what you want to be when you grow up. That might explain.
Oh, yeah. I want to be an actress or something in the film industry. So the second monitor is to help me with editing. So,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, Riley.
Okay, so I'm Riley, and Camaro and I are actually in student government, so a lot of our time goes to that, but I'm also really involved. We do FBLA, DECA, I'm in yearbook. We're all in a broadcasting class, and so that's really fun. But what I want for Christmas, probably a gas card, just because I'm constantly driving.
That is a great idea for parents, a gas card.
Yeah, just
love
open
it.
up a tab at the gas station.
Yeah.
That's on me.
That's a great idea. Julia.
All right, so I was in DECA last year, but I wasn't as involved as I am this year, and then I just barely joined FBLA this year. And I actually wasn't on this project initially until I heard about it, and I was like helping them with it, but I wasn't really even part of it yet. And then my advisor was like, hey, would you like, because I was doing an internship for Jordan Valley at the time. And so like, well, you're into healthcare. You want to be a nurse or a doctor or something. Like, why aren't you on this project? And so I was like, well, I never thought of it. Yeah, I'm like, I guess it will be now. So I have the privilege to work with these wonderful young women and understanding, so it's exciting. And I'm so excited for my career in healthcare and what I want to do. But what I want for Christmas, maybe a computer, like a laptop, or maybe just someone pay for all my school.
A scholarship.
A scholarship, please.
Yeah, that's a great Christmas present. Tall order. Santa needs to fill that one. Yes. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the project, its inception, and why and how this all came to be.
So, we're in DECA, and for this project is a creative marketing project, and because we didn't want to do something that was so like strict and that you had to like follow everything. We wanted something that you had more flexibility with, and so with this project, creative marketing, you could really like pick any topic that you wanted to do and then create it for yourselves. And that's why we thought, oh, let's do a creative marketing project and then do women's health, because we're all in this project, we're all females. And so we also have a lot of questions, that we have about our health. And then we realized that a lot of people in high school also have a lot of questions. And so we're like, let's do it on this. Let's do it on females' health.
I love it.
Yeah.
So did you guys come up with some of the questions and just ask people to list the most popular, or did you take everyone's questions and then kind of come up with a list of the top 10?
So we actually had a bunch of topics that we had, and we said on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you with this topic? And then after they listed that, they could have their own specific questions listed underneath of what they were concerned about. So,
oh, that's really cool. So today we're going to tackle just a few of them, and next week we'll dive even deeper into some of them. Okay, and if anyone out there has questions while you're watching, feel free to post them, and we'll get to some at the end if we have time. So the first one we can start with is it healthy to gain a little weight over a period of time? So what this makes me think of first is image. and self-respect and understanding who you are as a person and having self-worth. As a mother, I have a 10-year-old daughter. This is a big deal. And even at this young age, she sometimes asks me, Mom, am I skinny? And I don't even know where she's gotten this. And it starts at such a young age. And so tell me a little bit about this for you guys and how it's like, what it's like being a teenage girl.
So for me, a little thing that I didn't know, like all throughout growing up, is that you can still be healthy even if you're like bigger, you know, like that's completely okay. Because it was in health class in middle school. I think it was like during 8th grade. And we were sitting down, she was teaching us about weight and stuff like that. And she's like, you know, you can be like, you know, up there on the scale and like still be healthy. And I didn't know that. Like, you know, in our media, we portray it as like, oh, you have to be stick thin in order to be healthy. But that's not the case at all. And that's like where I was like, oh, like it kind of opened up my eyes. Like, you don't need to be like that big to be healthy.
Or to be worth something.
Yeah.
I think that's like the sad truth of what media portrays. Sure. And so we're going for health. And health is not necessarily a number on the scale. It's about an overall picture of health. And so I think it's so important to understand that. When, you know, and we all come in different shapes and sizes. I am 6'1", and so I like that as an adult, but I did not like that as a teenager. I was about 6 feet tall when I was 15 years old and got called Jolly Green Giant and, you know, all names in the book. And because I was taller, I weighed more than all my friends too. Yeah, and so, you know, it just, as I got older, I started to understand that wasn't what I needed to worry about. It's not the number on the scale. It's about composition and health. And if you're eating well and you're exercising and taking care of yourself, that's the most important thing. Yeah. So do you guys have anything that you'd like to add to that?
I mean, I was a soccer player for 14 years, and so I was always constantly, you know, building muscle. And I think sometimes that we forget that muscle weighs
more than fat.
Yeah, exactly. You gain so much. And you can be healthy, and you can be exercising, and you can be eating right, and you can still weigh more than people who aren't.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Do you have any thoughts about the topic, Talia?
Yeah, just how we were talking about how, like, the way we're portrayed in media, how women are supposed to be a specific way, but, like, how we're saying, like, everybody is made to be different. Like, we weren't supposed to be made to be carbon copies of each other. So, like, I struggled with my weight, like, since I was younger, and I've like also been part of sports and everything. I was in cross country and just like different things like that. But I'm not the ideal image of thin, but I'm still healthy and I'm still living and thriving.
You guys are all so beautiful. And I hope that junior high is tough, right? But hopefully by like your junior year in high school, senior year in high school, you become more sure about yourself and understand that. It seems like you guys do, and you have confidence. You have such bright futures. Honestly, you guys, I used the word delightful when we started. You really are. You have so much going for you. So.
Thank you.
So is it healthy to gain a little weight over a period of time? It's the holidays. This is a normal time for people to gain a few pounds. So my husband has been wanting to lose a little weight. And he asked me if I would support him by going on this like modified diet in order to lose a couple of pounds before the holidays, so that when we gain a couple, our net will be 0. And I do that. I try to do that every year because, you know, research has actually shown that you know, the average person gains like 1 to 2 pounds during the holidays. I've seen some studies that say 5 or 10 pounds, but I mean, really, that seems like a lot. But I think a couple of pounds is probably realistic. We loosen our self-control a little bit because there's so many yummy treats around the holidays you have to eat. Right. So I would say it's normal to fluctuate a few pounds here and there. But if you notice that it's going up a little bit, you might want to just make sure you go back to eating healthy and exercising if you've slackened a little bit in those areas, and just kind of know what a healthy point is for you. And have you guys ever heard of body mass index?
Yes.
Okay. I have a love-hate relationship with this.
I do too.
Because like we were talking about with composition before, the body mass index takes into account your gender, your weight, your height, and it gives you a number. and everyone's supposed to stay within this certain range, and that's what people say is healthy. But someone like a bodybuilder may be obese because they're in that category, but they weigh so much more because they have a ton of muscle. So obviously they're not obese. So that doesn't give a good picture of health, but it is a good place to start if someone's never considered that before and they're kind of wondering what a healthy range might be for them. So there's tons of body mass index calculators on the internet. You just plug in your information. It'll kind of tell you a number and what category you fit in. So, like I said, that's a good place to start. You can just be like, okay, well, am I really at a healthy weight? What is my diet really like? Do I drink like soda all day and eat cookies for breakfast and shakes for lunch and pizza for dinner every day? When you're a teenager, it's hard to not do those things because you're eating on the go. And so I think it's important to just make sure you have healthy snacks, talk to your parents, because really, they've done research on this too. Whatever is visible to you is what you're going to eat. So if there's apples on the counter instead of like a box of cookies, you're going to eat the apple instead. So if you fill your pantry and your house with healthy food, you have snacks for when you're on the go at school, then you're more likely to eat healthy food. So you want to avoid gaining weight over time. You want to try to maintain a healthy weight, and you do that by eating well, portion control, and exercise.
Right.
Okay, so the second question was, if you are not in a sport and are constantly busy with either family or school, how can you stay at a healthy weight? And I mean, you guys just mentioned some of the things that you're involved in, and I'm sure not even all. And you guys were telling us earlier that you've been collecting items to donate to kids with cancer.
Yeah.
So you've been like running from door to door picking up these items. So that's great exercise.
Yeah, I know, right?
But you've been really busy, so it's probably hard to find time to, at least that may be a form of exercise. You said you played soccer. But yeah, how do teenagers stay active? In your guys' opinion, what do you think?
I think, because I'm thinking more about people who are in, like, academically in school, not like, you know, sports or anything. You know, the people who are always in AP classes. And instead of doing physical activity, they're always
you spend all your time doing homework.
Yeah, exactly. So like, when's that? Time? And so I'm thinking maybe like even on the weekends or something, what I would do, I guess, is just like, I saw this thing a few years back, and it was like, if you watch TV, and like, I know Netflix or like Hulu doesn't have commercials anymore, but like, if you're watching like cable and you have commercials, like, do a little workout during the commercial breaks. Like, I think that's like a great idea for someone who really wants to get active but doesn't have the time.
I would flip it and say exercise during the show and rest during the commercial.
That's smart, yeah.
If you're going for, because I mean, really for health, you want to shoot for about 30 minutes of moderately intense cardiovascular exercise on most days of the week. And for busy teenagers, 30 minutes is like, what? I already have so many other things to do. But think of all the things you choose to do with your extra time. Right? So maybe you could do activities with your friends that are active and are engaging, and like, or start an exercise group with your friends, and every night that allows you to hang out while also being active, you know? Because 30 minutes, I mean, we carve out 30 minutes in our day for lots of other things. We just don't do it for exercise all the time. But there's ways to make it fun so that you're more likely to do it.
Yeah. Even we had a disco night last week, and we went to classic skating. And
That's fun.
Yeah, and exactly, it's fun. And there was like this like big board on every single like part of it, and I was like, oh, you burn 320 calories if you do it for an hour, and like it was really cool. So like you can get your exercise and like still have fun, you know, with your friends. Like go out, because obviously I think if someone were to be like, do I work out or do I go hang out with friends? Hang out with friends, but work out also.
Yeah, you can do both.
Like, yeah, I think
they can exist together. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, I was just, when we were talking about academics, like I struggle with this all the time, being active, because I take AP classes, and I'm also with my family all the time, and I just like, when I get home, I like to relax, watch Netflix or Hulu, and then before I know it, put on some sweatpants and just relax, and you don't really want to be active. But what I try to do is just, because I have a dog, and so I try to at least play with her, like take her out on a walk, even though it's freezing, but even just like a little bit outside with her, so she's getting exercise and I'm also getting exercise.
That's great. So that's another great thing to do. You may have to walk the dog, so it's a double duty chore.
I know our school is 1/4 of a mile long. So just walking back and forth to class, you might be getting your exercise in.
Yeah.
So just
Running up the stairs.
Yeah.
run up the stairs, find
Yeah.
different ways to work out at school while you're doing
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, this exercise doesn't have to be sustained over an entire 30 minutes. If it's broken up into small bits, that's okay. If you have 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And when you're looking at choosing classes too, you have to pick some that keep you physically active, right? Is that still a requirement?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I finished all
That'll
mine, so I'm like filling them up with other things. But yeah.
but once you've given it a shot and you've tried to incorporate exercise into most days of the week, you'll miss it when you don't do it because it helps you feel good. And we talk about image and, all of that stuff that we were talking about before. If you know you're exercising and if you know you're eating well and doing those things, then I think that the number on the scale tends to affect you less because you know you're being healthy, you know. And it's not just a physical feeling. I think it also affects our social well-being, our mental well-being, our emotional well-being. That's a really big part of it. So if you think you don't have time for it, make time for it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Slowly.
Should I diet? So it sounds like that was a hot topic too for teens.
For sure.
Yeah.
There are so many weird diets out there. What ones have you guys heard about? What ones are popular
Keto.
among your friends? Keto.
Keto is
Yeah.
a big one. Yeah. For I think all ages too, like teenagers and adults. I've seen all the age ranges to go on keto diets.
Yeah.
A lot.
The kale ones.
Kale. Where you just eat like kale?
Yeah, you just eat kale.
That's all you eat? I haven't heard about that
A lot of
one.
nutritional value.
That sounds pretty bland. Do your parents talk about diets a lot?
Mine don't. I mean, I was I kind of fluctuate from different things, but I was vegan and I was vegetarian, and now I'm kind of I still kind of stay away from meat, but more lean meats like chicken and fish, because red meat is not really good for you. But just going through all that and just seeing, I mean, obviously vegetables are really good for you and everything, but you also kind of need meat in your, at least some kind of protein in your diet. So
I think you hit it right on the head, because any diet that is extreme, that's cutting, especially food that is good for you, out of your diet, you should be aware of it. What did I say? Aware. It should basically throw up a red flag. And I think the best thing to do is just eat a well-rounded diet, portion control. I mean, because grains, they are healthy for us. Just choose whole grains instead of white.
Right.
So brown rice versus white rice, multi-grain bread instead of just white bread. There are, whole grain pasta instead of white pasta. There's just a few things you can exchange and it's going to be healthier for you. Yeah. It actually has a lower glycemic index, which means that your body has an easier time controlling your blood sugar when you eat these whole grains. The way your body processes it is better. And then, of course, fruits and vegetables. Like I said, I would be aware, I would be leery of any diet that tells you to cut out vegetables and fruit, because those are good for us and they have vitamins and nutrients that we need to survive. And lean protein, like you were saying. And when we go back to the keto diet, I have a bajillion friends on it right now. And some have had lots of success and lost a lot of weight, but as soon as they go back to regular life, because you can't really sustain that for a lifetime, they tend to gain the weight back.
Right.
And so it's just this yo-yo effect that instead of just I kind of think of it as a marathon. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Because if you sprint, you're going to go kaput. And so and so doing these crash diets or these diets like keto, it's just not sustainable.
Yeah. That's what I think too. That's my I think that nothing changes overnight. You know what I mean? You can't change overnight. But I feel like just what you said, having wheat bread instead of white or something like that, and doing those little changes over time, I think can really affect your diet. And especially people who do go on keto diets or something, or things like that, they can't really stick to those things because they're their body's not used to it, they crave things and stuff like that. And so I think just doing little bits at a time can really change over a year or something.
It really can. They're lifestyle choices. I don't like the word diet because you don't want to tell yourself you're on a diet for the rest of your life. You want to tell yourself that you're eating healthy. You're choosing to do that for you.
Creating better habits.
Yes, exactly. Better habits. And so I could eat an apple that's about 100 calories, or I could eat a small bag of chips for 100 calories. They're both equal caloric value, but which one is better for me?
Right.
You know? And so, of course, it's okay to choose the chips every once in a while. And, of course, it's okay to have, like, a little bite of dessert every day. It's just all things in moderation. What can you sustain for life? So, should I diet? If you actually have some weight to lose, especially if you've been counseled to do so by a doctor, then they should work with you and talk to you about ways to do this. And you don't want to lose the weight too quickly either. You know, about 1 to 2 pounds per week max is what people should go for. And so if you're exercising plus cutting out unnecessary calories from your diet, most people will see that. But with that said, there are also some underlying like endocrine problems or hormone imbalances that can contribute to people having a hard time losing weight. So if you've been doing all of these things and having problems losing weight, then it's a good idea to talk with your parents, talk with the doctor about whether or not you need to look into those underlying factors that may be affecting it. So, any other thoughts about diet?
No, I think we hit it. I think we got it, yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, I was just going to say with just, like, eating right and everything, I also found that, like, when you're eating good, like, majority of the week, like, it's also good not to punish yourself when you mess up. Or what if you did eat a cookie and you're like, oh, man, can't believe I ate that cookie. But just don't punish yourself. Just keep going and even, like, have it like a good cheat meal like once in a while to kind of keep you going, because if you don't have any motivation or something that like a reward for you, then it's like, what am I doing this? And it just makes it harder. It just makes you unhappy and you're eating kale and you're like, I hate this. Like, you don't want that. Like, it's
totally
much better if you
I'm glad you brought that up, and food is such a social thing too. You should be allowed to eat every once in a while, have a treat, or you know, a reward. There's actually Sean, a guy that's behind the scenes, he's here. We talk all the time about the 80-20 rule. Like, you know, we eat healthy 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time that might be like allowing myself to have dessert a couple nights of the week, or like eat whatever I want for dinner on Saturday night, or whatever it might be. It's okay. That's not going to kill you if you're eating well and exercising the rest of the week. I'm glad you brought that up. Don't beat yourself up. Plan on it and allow it. Just budget. It's kind of like budgeting money, I think. You know? So you're just budgeting to fit in those extra calories at certain times in the week. Okay, so we kind of talked about body image. We've talked about dieting. There's a few other things that we're going to hit on next week. Like it looks like a lot of people want to talk about skincare. That's a big deal when you're a teenager, especially with hormones and everything. Like, what do I do to control this? And then someone told me once, when you're in your mid-30s, you're probably going to have a worse complexion than you did when you were a teenager. And that's so true with me. So I'm interested to hear all about that next week when you talk to someone too. And then we'll get into like birth control, a little bit more of women's health next week, sleep, and something that is also a really hot topic with teens is mental health. And so this is obviously a big deal. So I think that in and of itself is a topic that we could tackle, you know, just alone. Absolutely. But what other topics are people interested in? What else have people brought up as you've taken the survey?
I'm not sure. Do you guys have any like personal things that you're questioning or anything? Oh, like you're personally interested in?
Yeah.
I think a majority of what we have in our little script is for the questions that people had the most common. So
most common threads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I see and hear things about like, what are my chances for cancer if my family member had that, or diabetes. And actually, when it comes to diabetes, we talked about a lot of things to help prevent type 2 diabetes, at least. A lot of people don't understand that there's a couple of different types of diabetes. Type 1, you can't do anything to change that. You just have that. And all the diet and exercise in the world is not going to make it go away, although it will help you manage your blood sugars, and it's an important part of managing it, but it's not going to treat it. Type 2 diabetes can actually go away with diet and exercise and weight loss. And so we've talked about some ways to do that. And more teens these days are being diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes. And so all the things we talked about hopefully will help those out there who are struggling with that as well.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm excited. I'm really excited to talk with you guys again next week.
Me too.
I look forward to it already. Thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, if you guys have any questions, you can leave them below. And for sure, stay tuned. Join us next week for more. Thanks and have a great day.